Hello and welcome back to the Movie Pope podcast to all the film faithful. And today we are taking a look at Marvel's Thunderbolts. And this is just a teaser trailer, but Marvel always has the good grace to let us know what's on their mind, be it either another show on Disney Plus or a teaser trailer. Now, what's funny, Lee, is the fact that we did a review recently of the two Hellboy movies, and the 2019 Hellboy starred David Harbour in the titular role, and Ian McShane as Professor Broom. and the two trailer reactions that we're doing, one of them has Ian McShane, and the other one has David Harbour in it.
Yes.
So I promise you, this is not something that was planned in advance. This is just a totally happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. But Thunderbolts has been touted as the next Avengers movie, or I guess the anti-Avengers, so to speak. Because the last time we saw David Harbour in the MCU was in Black Widow, and I think it's safe to say we walked away from Black Widow with more questions than answers.
Mm-hmm. Though I will say I did like David Harbour in it too, so I'll give him some credit. At least he definitely was a good thing to go with a really lame story. So.
Now, here's my issue with Marvel as of late, because whereas in the past, you could just go in and watch a movie and enjoy it, just for the sake of it being there. With Marvel movies of late, it's like if you don't know who this character is, then you would have to watch this show or these two shows in order to understand where they're coming from. Because a lot of what we're seeing here, if you haven't watched a majority of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, some of it might be over your head, really.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And because they recently released a teaser trailer for Captain America: New World Order, which we've decided we're not going to do a reaction to because why? We'll just wait until the full trailer comes out and go out here. But I felt like with Thunderbolts, it was too big of a temptation to pass over, because there are just so many elements in it that just makes you want to, what's the right word, Lee? Mock it? Or
I don't know. I haven't seen this trailer, so this will be interesting to see for me. So I'm going into this fairly blind as far as what to expect. So
all right, let's go ahead.
I click leave on porch. Your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ.
Alexi, it's me. Open up.
Milena?
there's our boy David Harbour.
Milena!
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about the wait. It was an important call. Highly classified. Lot of work. Many irons in fire.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled. But why do you ask this?
Elena's slick back hair like that.
There is something wrong with me. An emptiness. I'm just drifting. And I don't have purpose. I thought throwing myself into work was the answer.
I think Wyatt Russell gets too much hate for his character.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die on that hill, by the way. Oh, there he is. Well, in costume, we saw him a little bit earlier. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
It's from Ant-Man.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
Who sent you, Bob?
Nobody. You were all sent?
Okay,
Everyone here has
interesting.
done bad things. Shadow ops. Robbing government labs. Contract kills.
Bob, though.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone. What the hell?
We're brought up with this belief that there are good guys and there are bad guys.
There's so much Bucky Barnes.
This could get messy.
Too much Bucky Barnes.
But eventually,
That doesn't look familiar at
you come to
all.
realize that there are bad guys and there are worse guys and nothing else. Look at you. So adorable.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I'd like to see her in something.
Don't worry, she's bulletproof. What happened to bulletproof? It's bulletproof-ish.
I don't think there's anything bulletproof-ish.
That's not good.
I feel like we saw that weapon used in the Captain America films. Oh, I mean, it's an interesting team up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens. I will say this, right? And I'm gonna die on this hill, as I said earlier, right?
Yeah.
I think Wyatt Russell, for his character John Walker, gets way too much hate for what he did. I actually really liked his character. I don't care how many people flamed me about that. I did really like him. In that, the one thing Bucky Barnes to me is just not an interesting character. I just don't understand why they feel the need to constantly insert him into stuff. I have nothing against Sebastian Stan or anything like that. The Bucky Barnes character is not interesting to me. It feels like he's overdone now.
I mean, there's nothing much you can add. He can add to the storyline.
Exactly. I feel like this would have been an opportunity to allow him just not to be a part of it. So I didn't really get that. I think all the other characters I'm fine with seeing. Obviously, Florence Pugh playing Yelena. Excited to see that. I really like her as an actress. So able to see more of her. Seeing some of the other characters, I mean, makes sense. We got some of them in there. I will totally admit I don't know who the hell Bob is, right? So that'll be, I guess, some research we'll have to do now to see who this character is. So, or do you happen to know who that is that showed up there?
If I've been reading around, I think he's supposed to be the Sentinel.
Oh, okay.
Or no, that's
Okay.
Sentinel, the Sentry. Sorry, the Sentry. So
No, I gotcha. Okay.
yeah,
so,
yeah. Because so he's supposed to be like this, I guess, like this ordinary guy who can transform into this Superman-like character who has the power of 1,000 suns and can is virtually indestructible. But
okay, sounds a little bit overpowered.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess what they're trying to do is they're doing some sort of government job to try to either contain him or flip him and turn him into their asset, just because it would keep in line with the tone of what they set in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I'm with you on Wyatt Russell, because I think he did a phenomenal job playing this a complex character. I just think in terms of the writing, they kind of overdid it just to emphasize the fact that, hey, you're supposed to like Sam Wilson here, so we're going to make him as big of a douche as possible, so you'll be rooting for Sam, right? Remember, you want Sam.
I didn't even feel that, and I don't want this to become a John Walker discussion, but I feel like he got a lot of hate. I think he's a character. I remember when he does the infamous kills the guy kind of in cold blood, so to speak. Because his friend got killed. I'm like, okay, how many people would probably have similar feelings, right? I think this is where I don't like characters that are very black and white. I have a no kill policy because killing's bad, but I enjoy people that have that nice gray area, and I think that he did a great job of that. So props to Kurt Russell's son, for that portrayal. And yeah, I like I said, I'll be curious to see what they do with it. It is something that is definitely on my radar. It kind of feels like Suicide Squad-esque type of idea of, kind of bringing in some, lesser, maybe anti-hero, not necessarily villains, but obviously not good guys for the most part.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting to see this kind of collection of characters. So yeah, there's some interest there. I will say, but I think a lot of that is just carried by, some of the characters that, and some of the actors that I like. As I said, David Harbour, I really like. Florence Pugh has really kind of burst into the scene really well, and I think Wyatt Russell and what he did with John Walker, I think, was a rather underrated or maybe underappreciated for what happened. Some of the other characters like Ghost. I forget who Olga Kurylenko plays. What was the name of the character? The whatever.
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Thank you. Yeah, could copy people's stuff. Not interested, right? It's like half the cast I'm interested in. The other half is just like whatever. I guess you have to be there. So, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you made a very interesting point because you did mention that this is Marvel's answer to DC's Suicide Squad. Where they basically just take a bunch of anti-heroes or people you wouldn't think of as heroes and kind of put them as government patsies. I think just based on the tone of what I'm seeing so far, it's not gonna have the same the same level of humor as what we're used to from DC's take on these kinds of team ups. But do you think like the tone that they're saying? Do you think that's appropriate for what they're trying to do, or do you think they should try to like?
I think it's gonna be blended. I think it's gonna be blended. I think I think when I think of like Red Guardian, I kind of think of this comic relief sort of to be character. I think they did a little bit with that with Yelena's character. Like some of them I think are more dry, but I think that'll be balanced out by maybe some of the characters I think are going to be more kind of like humorous with stuff. I think anytime that Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character's on the screen, like she's definitely going to bring this kind of snarky, kind of comical like demeanor about her. So I think there's going to be an interesting balance here that's going to happen. So
but it's not going to be like the over the top humor that we would expect from
correct.
The Suicide Squad.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be kind of a, I would say, healthy mix of the two, where there's going to be some serious stuff with some humorous stuff thrown in. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be nearly as like quippy as maybe some of the other Marvel projects that we've seen as of late.
So do you think this be a movie you would probably go and see in theaters, or you're just going to wait?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Because it comes out in May of 2025, or I should say May of next year. So that so it gives us some time to sit and think about whether this might be a movie worth checking out, or just waiting until it comes out on streaming.
Yeah, I do like some of the characters, and like I said, I will die on that hill for John Walker and his characters. So I think there is some interesting things there. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably something. I don't know if I'd see it in theaters, but I think if it was to get a lot of positive reviews, I'd definitely be all for it. So I guess we'll know. I guess we'll know more as we get towards May. But it is on my radar. I will say I'm not going to totally write this off. There are some of these characters that I would be interested in seeing, and seeing them kind of in a different light.
I mean, I know it's kind of too early to say, but do you think this might be one of the better movies Marvel puts out in the past few years?
And it kind of has to be, right? But I think that's more telling of the bar that's being set than what I feel like is going to happen from this. I do get concerned when, to your point, we have so many of these characters being jammed in here. You're gonna have some people that are fighting for screen time, and some of them that are just not gonna work out. So I think that's my biggest concern with this. There's just too many people, and you brought up a really good point, right? Like no one wants to sit here and do homework on who these characters are, right? Like for Wyatt Russell, the only time he's really appeared as John Walker, right, is in the
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Thank you, right? That's the only real time you want to see him. So, like, is anyone going to go out there and watch that just so you know what the character is going to be about? I don't know, right? Taskmaster. I mean, that character was so underutilized in the film, in the Black Widow film, that it's like I don't know what you're going to do with the character. She's kind of doesn't really bring anything to the table as is.
And the same with Ghost also.
Yeah, exactly. Ghost the same way. Like, what are you going to really do with it? And then you have like Bucky, and I'm like, dang, like Bucky's just is constantly in this stuff. And it's like it almost feels like he's being forced into these types of movies.
He's the Pedro Pascal of the MCU.
Yeah, like it's just like stop. Like I've seen enough of Bucky Barnes. Like he's there, he played his role, he played his plot. Just let it be over with. We don't have to constantly see him. I think I do like Yelena. I do want to see more of her. And like I said, the Red Guardian I like, but it's definitely hit or miss. There's some of these characters that just don't think they should be in there. Other ones I would say I genuinely have an interest with. So I guess it'll depend on who's getting what screen time as far as what I'm going to be in. I'd imagine, it looks like Yelena plays a very prominent role in this. So I'm kind of expecting her to be kind of the one that gets the most, I would say, like character. So that gets me excited. It just depends on what you want to do with everybody else.
Yeah, it looks like it has the potential to be a really, really good movie. My only hang up is you're asking us to remember characters from shows that we've already forgotten about.
Yeah.
Or should I say, shows and movies that we've already forgotten about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because nobody's gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, I remember this from Ant-Man Quantumania. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I remember this from Black Widow, because those movies are like 2 or 3 years old now. So unless you're like a diehard fan, you're really not gonna automatically recall any of that stuff. So
yeah, and
it's gonna be a huge refresher
either, right? Like these are films that weren't very well received, right? Like I don't remember. I would say the TV show, right? With Wyatt Russell in it, that wasn't very well received. I don't think that's going to be like a whole bunch of people clamoring for it. Quantumania, the second Ant-Man, like not exactly something that I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. There's like so many of these characters were involved in very mediocre projects, and I think that's ultimately going to hurt what people are going to be interested in, because like they're not attached to something that was good. So now it's like, okay, like what are we going to do now if it was, all these characters are attached to, fairly mediocre art that just didn't really have a whole lot of box office. So,
to your point. Well, I was gonna say to your point, like even if these movies were mediocre, subpar, like had they played a more prominent role, I think it would make it a little bit better.
Oh, really. Absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah.
Because say for instance, had Ghost played a much bigger role or a more central role in Ant-Man, for instance, her appearance in the Thunderbolts would be far more significant than us just sitting there being like, okay, where have I seen her before? Like, what does she do? So yeah, we've got until May, so that's something for us to chew over. But yeah, go ahead and let us know down in the comments below what you think. If you're excited for the Thunderbolts, if this is going to be Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad, or if you're just going to sit there and scratch your head and say, oh God, now I got to do more homework again. But I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch our trailer reaction, and be sure to subscribe, show some love and support. We're over the 100 subscriber mark, and we like to keep going. So let's get to 1,000. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.